It's that time of year again when our yard looks like it's covered with snow. Those little wildflowers, they just spring up overnight and then boom, they're there, you know. Here's our apricot tree looking real good. There'll be some bees swarming around that thing. And here's our redbud. In a couple of days that thing will look even more, just more red. It's just now starting. And we have these little things here. I can't remember what the wife said they were. I'd have to ask her. They're popping up more and more every year also. Looks like our apple tree that I planted a year ago is going to make it also. It hasn't bloomed out yet. None of the leaves are coming out, but there's plenty of buds on this thing. So it looks like it survived the winter time. And I took a scratch of the limb right here. And there's green underneath it, so we'll know more about this in a few days. Just a little too early yet. And then of course there's our neighbor's pear tree. I think that's a pear tree. Wild pear, something like that. I don't know. Prickly pear. White flower tree. These are the flowers that bloom every year along our carport. I don't know who planted them. I don't know how they got there. But they pop up every year. They won't be there, and then one day, there they are again. Strangest thing. Well, you probably can't see it, but Wifey's stove has a big chip in the ceramic top, and it made a crack all the way across. It went pop the other day when she broke it. She broke this thing. I don't know why she did. I bought her a brand new stove, and she doesn't even care. She just...
Yeah, I know.
Well, what do you mean,
People, I had it 2 days, and my husband used it for a work bench.
No, I did not.
Heating aluminum foil and catching it afire.
No.
Running my glass top on my stove.
That's her story.
And it cracked.
No.
And I didn't have the stove 2 days.
2 days? That's not the way I remember it. I'm sorry. She says, anyway, she wants me to fix it. I have got to fix this. Look at that big old chip. Let's get down in there. Look at that big old chip. Look at that crack.
Look at all this. This is where the aluminum foil burned. All this.
Why? I don't know why you did that. I mean, see the crack goes off. And over here it's gotten unlevel. It's very difficult to get a top for these things, and they want a fortune. I don't know. Every time I turn around, she costing me money.
This time, it's costing him big time.
I don't know why you're saying these things. You know I'm pure as a driven snow.
Yeah, sure.
I'm innocent, people. I'm innocent.
Guilty.
Anyway, she wants me to fix it.
Yeah, big enough.
Well, did I fix your stove for you, Wifey?
Yeah, it's fixed, okay?
It's fixed, okay. I'll tell you what, I'm a pretty good fixer, huh?
Yeah, the best.
The best, all right.
You're the best at breaking, too.
What's all that stuff you're taking off of there? Oh, I really fixed it good, huh?
Yep, changed the color and everything.
By the way, this stove came with a sticker on it. Yes, it did. It had America right up there, stuck on there. We took it off and stuck it on this pamphlet. Let's see what it has to say. America. Designed, engineered, and assembled in the United States of America. Wow. Designed, engineered, and assembled. I guess that just makes us still a bunch of kit builders. Everything else was made overseas, all the parts and pieces. Well, thanks, Whirlpool. We, Americans, really appreciate that. Speaking of stoves, on the 15th of March, our good friend and subscriber, John, whose YouTube handle is Lockmeister, he uploaded a video, and part of the video involved a purchase he made on eBay of a mint condition vintage Coleman camping stove. That ran off of either naphtha or what was called white gas. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen it yet, let me see what the title of it. The title of this video is Some New Camping Gear. Also, beware the Ides of March. There it is right there. Lockmeister. I'll tell you what, boy, that is one really nice stove. That thing is in absolute, almost perfect condition. he really did good on that, and it didn't cost him that much either. Beautiful, beautiful stove. I wish you, John, you should have done, come back a few feet and let us see an overall picture of the whole thing. Would have been cool. My parents had one of these, by the way. We used it every time we went camping. And, they had problems, but they ran off, I guess what nowadays they call naphtha. I don't remember my parents ever buying naphtha, I guess it is, to run on their Coleman gas stove. They used white gas. Yes, they did. It's a generic term, and I'll tell you where it came from. Years ago, when this thing came on the market, all the gasoline we used for our cars had lead in it, and it was red. All the gas was red. It had a real dark tinted red, and it would gum up the carburetors in the car. You'd have red lead colors all over the place. Everything that took that lead. The purpose of the lead was to make it start better, and supposedly get better gas mileage, make it burn more efficiently, and all that. But there was one gas station that sold gas that did not have the lead in it, and it was clear, and it was Amoco gas. It was clear gas, or gasoline, which is where the term gas comes from. Anyway, it was clear gas, and everybody called it white gas. And everyone knew that you could use white gas in your Coleman stoves and your Coleman lanterns, back in those days, back in the 50s, because it would not gum everything up. The old lead, boy, I'll tell you what, they finally got rid of the lead because of environmental pollution purposes and this and that and whatever. And now everything is clear. And you could refer to everything nowadays as the generic term of white gas, okay? So that's where the term white gas came from. You heard it here. Here's the modern version of the stove that Lockmeister has. Yeah, we keep it around our house, back in the bedroom, up on a shelf, in case we lose power for an extended period of time. We have a way to cook our food. It's not been open. It's been sitting up there for at least 2 years. The modern version of the stove uses propane, and you can see the edge of the gas tank right here just above his hand, and it feeds into the stove via an aluminum pipe. You can barely make it out between his two hands right there, and it's at an angle. The tank sits at an angle, as you can see, kind of like that. That's so the gas will feed up through, and it's a 20,000 BTU, and it says you can go from simmer to full boil. You can remove the grate for easy cleaning. It's got everything you can want in a modern propane gas tank type stove. And these are the canisters you buy for it, the propane. Comes in a 2-pack. You can pick them up at Walmart. I think I paid $5 for the pair, something like that. They're not that much, and the stove itself was not very expensive. I recommend everybody at least keep one of these around like this in case of, what you would consider to be an emergency. We bought this long before I bought that little single square one that I use for my cooking. This is strictly if we lose power. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, it is time to modernize this bench a little bit. Not a whole lot, just some. This little old IM 4100 Heathkit frequency counter is about had to lick. It only works in this position. Let me get down here. It only works in the megahertz position, where I have the line drawn. It won't work in kilocycles, and it only works in the ×1, and you have to leave it in frequency, of course. It's time for something new, and I'm going to get something new. And the second thing I need is a good variable DC power supply that goes from 0 volts on up to whatever I want. I was thinking maybe a 18 volt DC, but I think I got my eyeball on something even better than that, and it only costs like $2 or $3 more. So we'll see how that goes. And last but not least, I think I'm going to break down and get a later in the year, not right now. I think wifey keeps breaking her appliances, so I have to spend all my money on that. Anyway, this right here is a nice triplet signal generator, but it's huge, it's bulky, and I restored it. It works fine, but I'm ready for something new. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get a new modern signal generator later in the year, and I'll be getting rid of this one and this old Heathkit up here. And I don't know if I want to keep that around just for nostalgic purposes or not, but it's about time to start really upgrading around here. We have received another package. This time from our good subscriber, Ron Smith. Now he contacted me before he sent it, and he said he wanted it's a Japanese kind of snack, and the name of it is Taro Mochi. You know, whenever I say that word, I picture some samurai soldier standing there in front of me with a sword, and he's looking me in the eye, and he goes, "Taro Mochi." You know, it's just, I don't know, having lived in Japan, that struck a chord with me. Anyway, let's go ahead and open it up and find out what Taro Mochi is, okay? Well, there it is. Looks kind of neat. I looked at the ingredients on the back. It's got a beautiful box. Nice box. You know, cherry blossom, Japanese cherry blossoms there. Taro Mochi. Anyway, on the back, I checked out the ingredients. It's rice with taro root paste, or taro paste. You know, I've seen these before when I was in Japan. I don't think I ever ate one though. Let's open it up and do a taste test. Well, that's pretty neat. A little package, looks like little cupcake holders in there. Check that out. Let me zoom in here. Little cupcake holders. Let's open this up and see what we got. Actually, let's back up and take a look at the whole package. Kind of neat the way they wrap that. I like that. And they're in little plastic holders with a cupcake wrapper in the middle. Well, I'll tell you what, this sure smelled good as soon as I opened it up. You know, one thing I remember about being in Germany and in Europe and over in the Far East is they were never really noted for their candy. It was never sweet enough for the Americans. I never ate much Japanese candy or European candy of any kind, because even their cakes and everything and their pies, they were just not sweet enough for me, you know. I couldn't wait to get back to the States to get some real candy. Well, let me go ahead and taste one here. Let me take this out. Oh, it's real kind of squishy, kind of spongy. Let's take it on out of here. Let me see if I can get it in the camera here. It's kind of hard for me to see what's going on in this sun here today. Look at that, it's kind of squishy. Let me take a bite. It's supposed to be a sweet snack. I don't know. Let me take a bite. Well, it's definitely rice, I think, on the outside. That's a rice gelatin. And on the inside is the squishy stuff. Let me taste that. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not what you call high sweet candy like we have in the States, but it's definitely Japanese. You can tell by the rice texture. And they make everything out of rice over there. Rice candy, rice syrup, rice wine. Grab a bite here. Well, that's not too shabby. Not shabby at all. And, as usual, we all know what that means. Shout out to our good subscriber, Ron Smith. The first item in my workbench upgrade program has arrived. It's not going to take the place of an existing item. It's going to be an addition to what I have. There's another one on the way. Should be here in around, I don't know, 8 to 12 days. And we'll open that one in a future video. But right now, let's go ahead and get this thing open and see what it is and see if it arrived in one piece. Well, so far so good. They got some very nice packing in it. Let's keep digging. Well, there it is. DC Power Supply PS305D. I picked it up on eBay. Originally I was going to get a 0 to 18 volt 3 amp power supply, but then I got looking around and I found out for $2 more I can pick up a 0 to 30 variable power supply rated at 5 amps. So I said, well, why should I settle for an 18 volt jobby when I can you get a 30 volt for $2 more. So, by the way, I just checked it. It's gone up $10 already, so I got this just at the right time. I've been needing one of these for a long time. I've been needing a power supply, a DC power supply, and I just never had one. I'll tell you what, this little sucker is heavy. I kind of like that. It weighs a lot. It's really heavy. And it comes with this set of leads. I'm not going to connect them up. It seems to me that for 5 amps, I don't think I'll ever use it for 5 amps. Matter of fact, I probably won't use it much past 1 amp, so I'm not really worried about it. And it is cheap, but that's okay. It'll meet my needs for the type of work I do. All right, I don't need absolute 1000% accuracy and all this other crap. I just work on old radios, and sometimes I just need a good, steady source of DC voltage. All right, let's go ahead. It's plugged up. Let's see if it'll light up. Oh, that's pretty slick. Goes up to 32 volts. Let me see. I think one of these brings it down. I think it's this one here. Yeah, let's go ahead and bring it on down. All the way down. Okay, the minimum voltage is 3 apparently. Let me bring the current down. Let's bring the fine down. Yeah, I can take it down lower with the fine. It was maxed out all the way. There we go. 0 to probably 31, 32 volts on this thing. Anyway, it was 51 bucks. I think it was $51.85, which is real good. And now they're selling for what, $60. So in just a couple of days' time, they went up that much. Well, that's it. I got myself a little. The only thing, by the way, any of these power supplies similar to this, whether it be a 0 to 18, 0 to 12, or one of these, don't hook up what it is you're applying voltage to and then turn the power on. Turn the power on first. There is a voltage spike associated with these. Now, it won't hurt, an old piece of tube gear of some kind, but if you're working on solid state equipment that has some fairly sensitive components on there, turn your power supply on first, hook it up to the power supply, and then crank up your voltage slowly along. And with your current, by the way, there's some very, very good reviews on how to use these power supply videos on YouTube. I recommend if you buy one, or even if you own one, you've never really used it fully and you're not really 100% certain about it, go look at those YouTube videos. They show you exactly what you need to know. The current relative to the voltage adjustments. Well, that's it, folks. I think what we're going to do is just go ahead and wrap this up, and I'm just happy to have my very first piece of test equipment. More to come on that. Until next time, this is John.